Good evening, good evening. Welcome to this edition of SheLovesThee SWAC Saturday. So I was running a little bit behind today, and I scheduled a 9 o'clock live, but we're here. And we have a special live today. We are going to go over Jackson State football staff's coaching reveal. Before we go over that, though, I wanted to quickly go over some of the scores out of today. We had Jackson State baseball playing today. We had Jackson State men and women's playing basketball. Women's played softball. And I want to say track and field had a track meet today at the Mississippi College. So first up, we have the baseball team. It looks like they beat Alcorn State 4-3. That was a delayed game. So they beat them 4-3. I'm wondering, I don't see any of the other scores, so I don't know if they doubled up or if they're just now getting finished with the other game. Because that particular game that they played, that they won 4-3, they had to play today due to weather. Or I guess the field was wet or whatever. And their stats haven't been working. Their live stats haven't been working for whatever reason. But they beat Alcorn 4-3. All right. And next, of course, we are going to go to the Jackson State women's basketball team, who clinched their 5th regular season title with a win today against Texas Southern. This is probably one of the most dominant, well, it for sure is the most dominant of the season, but it's one of those wins that it makes a statement, right? Because a lot of our girls were not mentioned they put out a list of like HBCU All-Stars for the women's side. And when they first released it, they didn't have anybody from Jackson State. So then they went on to take the list down and they put the list back up and they only added one player. Mind you, Jackson State is undefeated in the SWAC. So today they had a dominant win, 101-51. That's a 50-point win. And this is the Jackson State that we know, of course. They started off really well in the first quarter, scored 22 points, second, 24, just a dominant win altogether. Maya Crump had a high of 23 points and 10 rebounds. Kashana Luckett had 5 assists. It really was a dominant display of what Jackson State is all about. This is the Jackson State that we know of. And they had 56 rebounds this game. Good Lord. Their free throw percentage, 77%, of course. just imagine if that was at 90%, it'd be at like 120. Adriana Avent, this is her former school, Texas Southern. She scored 19 points. So she put on the show. Tion Bowler had 13 points. Angel Jackson had 10 points. Just a dominant game overall to clinch the regular season SWAC champs. Our men's team, listen. Oh, Lord. Our men's team, they lost 70-80 today. Texas Southern actually only has one more win over Jackson State overall, so they're 13-14, while Jackson State is 12-16. I don't really know what to say. It's been up and down for Jackson State. You know, we have some inconsistencies, and then we just have some hard games that we lost. That Alcorn game, of course, in overtime, that was a hard game. One thing that I will say is that Ken Evans Jr. is consistent. 19 points. He's consistent throughout. I think that maybe this was more so due to depth, not having that depth. So, of course, once you start getting tired, and then when you're away, some calls just don't go your way. And that's just being down that many players that can definitely have an effect on you. So they have one more road game. So so we have one more road game, which is Prairie View. That's going to be this Monday. And then they have Arkansas Pine Bluff at home and Valley at home to close out the SWAC season. And that's for the ladies as well. The ladies have Prairie View A&M and then Arkansas Pine Bluff at home. I know y'all about to be packed out on March 7th on Thursday. And then, of course, you have Mississippi Valley State on Saturday to close out the season right before the SWAC tournament. So at this point, did the guys lose? Let me go look at ESPN. It was 70-80. So y'all know how that goes. It is what it is. Okay, so let's look at the SWAC standings for basketball. Let's see. On the men's side, Grambling is comfortably in number 1, and then Southern second. Texas Southern is third. Alcorn State is 4th. Bethune-Cookman is 5th. Jackson State is 6th. Arkansas Pine Bluff is 7th. And Alabama A&M is 8th. So for us, Jackson State really, on the men's side, they need to go ahead and close it out with 3 wins, which I can say comfortably you could win against Valley. I think that Arkansas Pine Bluff game is going to be a shootout. And then Prairie View, while Prairie View is third to last, you just want to keep your head on the swivel for Jackson State, right? Especially since you're down. So we need to comfortably, on the men's side, go ahead and pull that out. Okay, and then on the women's side, we know that with today's win, that Jackson State is comfortably in the lead. But I'm sure that Coach Tamika Reed, she wants to finish it out undefeated, right? We want to be undefeated. Leave no doubt. So we're going to have that great matchup between Arkansas Pine Bluff and Jackson State. Coach Thornton, who is a Jackson State alum, And then you have Zay Green. Everybody was excited and basically saying that this was going to be Jackson State's biggest competition, right? So they're going to be in the AAC on next Thursday. So I expect, of course, a packed house for that one. And then we have, of course, Prairie View and Valley. So those are the last 3 games. We are looking to be 18-0 in the conference. Last year, Prairie View hit us upside the head with oopsies early in the season, right? And so that's our main goal right now. I'm sure we've already clinched the SWAC championship for the regular season. So now it's all about continuing to be dominant and going 18-0 in the conference. All right, y'all. Y'all ready? This is the coaches reveal. I'm getting ready to, number 1, put my StreamYard in the chat. This is the other update for Alcorn versus Jackson State, the second game that they had. Jackson State 12, Alcorn 9. So that's the update for that. So congratulations again to our baseball team. They have been super dominant. They will be playing Alcorn tomorrow at 1:00 to, I guess, close out the series. And then they have Rust College, Presbyterian. So they have Rust College next week, and then they'll head on to Memphis for the weekend. So we got some great stuff going on at Jackson State. Great stuff. Just like Whitley said, the coaches reveal is here. Everybody's been wondering, waiting, why we don't have our coaches. Who's going to be this? Who's going to be that? So shout out to Austin. He decided to include in these announcements everybody on the coaching staff. So there's going to be some folks that were already on the coaching staff. You're just going to put a face and name to it, right? And so I think that's especially like some of these folks, you might not know them. So let's go ahead and get these coaches down. All right, we're going to start off with the defense. And let me see here. This is the one I think that it kind of was in everybody's mind, right? Everybody was wondering and talking about it over the last couple of weeks. It kind of looked as though that Terenzo Quinn would be the best choice to become the defensive coordinator. And he already had it up in there on his Instagram. What's up? Co-defensive coordinator. Hi. And so we were just waiting on the official, right? I think Terenzo Quinn has done a fabulous job of proving himself as a dominant defensive coach for the defensive backs. And he was the defensive passing game coordinator. He's in his second year with the Jackson State Tigers. I'm going to drop this article that you can go look at just to follow along. Yeah, somebody got to go tell Mr. Ford. We got Mr. Terenzo Quinn. He's officially the defensive coordinator. Where can I get one of them short sleeves hoodies the coaches have on? I'll check. I'll look into that for you, Big Reese. I'll look into that for you, and I'll get back to you. So, done deal. He's officially the defensive coordinator. I like this move. And basically, the reason why I like this move for Jackson State is because I feel like Terenzo Quinn was so dominant as the defense passive game coordinator that he put Jackson State's no-fly zone on the map, right? Going out of the regular season, Jackson State had the most interceptions in all of FCS. So that's kind of saying something, right? And I like these moves that they made, right? These are a couple of you move here, and some of it quite naturally, it just goes with the flow of things, right? I feel like Jackson State is elevating with these coaching changes. It's different, right? Oh, somebody said read Enterprise Hoodie. So we'll see. There's additions to the defensive side. I like the shakeups, right? We all have met Coach Terenzo Quinn. For those of you who, need a little bit more background on him now that he's been upgraded to defensive coordinator, he was at UAPB. He guided the emergence of Sean Steele into one of the SWAC's top defensive backs. In 2019, Steele was tied for 6th in the SWAC in interceptions and tied for the league lead in pass breakups with 18. Also in 2019, Blake Connor led the team in both solo tackles and total tackles, and also recorded 2 interceptions and 2 forced fumbles. Quinn spent the 2016 season as a graduate assistant with the Alcorn State University football team, working primarily with the cornerbacks. Before he came to Jackson State, he was the safeties coach at Alcorn. And the Braves secondary got stronger as the year went on, registering at least 1 interception in 7 of the final 9 games. Prior to Alcorn, Quinn spent 1 year as an offensive coordinator at Mississippi Delta Community College. And as we can see, last year was a really good year for our defense in the secondary. So in 11 games, we had 17 interceptions for 47 yards. Jackson State was number 1. So we ain't going to look at the tackling. We're not going to look at the tackling, but we can look at the interceptions, right? So I think that speaks to the dominance that he's had, and it's been replicated at several different programs. So the fact that it's been replicated at several different programs, that speaks to his ability to mold those young men at a high level, right? So let's take it up a notch and make him the defensive coordinator and see what that overall defensive scheme is going to look like. So that's what I'm going to be interested in seeing, is what is Coach Terenzo Quinn's defensive schemes going to look like? Are we going to be able to get a couple more linebackers on the team before the season starts? We'll just have to see, right? Because that's what we need right now. Our next coach is the defensive line coach, Callie James. Callie, I feel really good about Callie. I really do. And if you have not had a chance, Jackson State, you can either go to their YouTube and take a look at Coach Callie James. They just recently dropped a video for him today at practice, and it's already going to get you fired up, right? Just to see him in his element, talking to or coaching up the student athletes on the defensive line. And I liked what I saw. I don't know about you, but I liked it. So Callie James, of course, he is coming from Florida. He was a defensive line grad assistant. It was his second season with the Gators, and he decided to come to Jackson State, right? Prior to him coming to Jackson State, it was mentioned that Callie James was getting ready to get upgraded, and we talked about this on a previous show, upgraded from a graduate assistant to a higher, more involved role on the defensive side of things. He chose to take the job at Jackson State. One thing that they attributed to Coach Callie is his ability to recruit. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but baby, them 2025 offers have started dropping. Pay attention to the kids that are being offered by Coach Callie and the rest of the Jackson State coaches. So Callie James Jr. spent 2 previous seasons as the defensive line coach for Land Christian Academy and 1 year in 2019 as a defensive line coach intern at South Carolina. He played 4 years at Tuskegee University, where he played in all 43 games, including being a 4-year starter at defensive tackle. He served as team captain his junior and senior years and was awarded the Golden Tiger Character Award. He totaled 62 career tackles, 19 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, and a fumble recovery for a touchdown his sophomore season. And he's a native of Riverdale, Georgia. He graduated from Tuskegee with his degree in psychology. So he's no stranger to the HBCU circuit. And he's from Riverdale, Georgia. And Riverdale, Georgia and the surrounding areas are hotbeds for really good talent. So I'm excited to see all that Coach Callie will bring today. He was very intense and in a good way. I think that these coaches are bringing some fire to the Jackson State team. I'm not just speaking of like Coach Callie, but I'm saying everybody has this rejuvenated aggressiveness that we really need and we're looking for. So I think Coach T.C. Taylor is honing in on that and building that type of powerhouse program by incorporating some of the younger coaches. I would make a bold statement that Jackson State probably has one of the youngest overall coaching staffs in the SWAC and MEAC for sure. Overall, we have a young coaching staff. So for some people, they might say inexperienced, right? But for me, I would think that that's not the case. So somebody said a DB guy as a defensive coordinator and a new guy as a D-line coach. Could there be any trouble stopping the run next year? It's something to keep an eye on, but you all have some good personnel, so I doubt there'll be any issues. So to that, I'll say no. We had trouble stopping the run game this year. I don't think that we'll be running a 2-man front this coming season, right? So one thing that's great about having a coach that was already on Jackson State's team and elevating them to the defensive coordinator position is he was doing his job with the passing game, right? So now he could see what the problem was up at the front, so he knows what to correct. So it's not just a defensive back coach getting elevated. It's a defensive back coach who's able to see the issues that were affecting our defensive line last year and knowing what to correct, right? Not EA in here. EA, we ain't going to talk about your coaches, okay? We are not. Next, we have Aaron Jackson. Aaron Jackson was already on Jackson State's staff. He is a defensive analyst and a defensive line assistant. So he was actually already on the team, right? Already there. It's just you need to put a name with the face, right? So this will be interesting to see how they mesh. So he was an assistant football coach at the defensive line at Hines Community College. He was a graduate assistant at Jackson State University. He also worked at Oklahoma Panhandle State University as an assistant football coach for the defensive line. And he is a Jackson State native in the sense that he was also an assistant football coach for the offensive line for Provine High School for 4 years. So he's no stranger to Jackson, Mississippi. He received his degree from Grambling State University. So that's a little bit about Aaron Jackson, right? And so one thing that we know about having these coaches that are from the Mississippi area, they're able to tap into all of these different football programs in the surrounding areas. Ain't no need of you over here side-eyeing. We waiting on your coach's reveal. Next, of course, we have Coach Hammock. Coach Hammock was here last year. He's our linebackers coach. Coach Hammock going to have to show us something, right? He's definitely going to have to show us something. And what I mean by that is we had a tackling problem with the linebackers last year. Need to be elevated, right? So I'm going to, I've done, once again, some of these coaches I've already done, but if this is your first time tuning in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that like button. Taquan Hammock was named the JSU football linebackers coach in February of 2023. He was the assistant cornerbacks coach at Northern Illinois University. That's where his brother is the head coach. And his brother just recently won a bowl game this past season. So congratulations to Northern Illinois University. So in 2021, he was a staff at Lafayette as linebackers coach. He was a defensive coordinator and linebackers coach at Upper Iowa University and a graduate assistant at Northern Illinois. Hammock is a 2013 graduate of Michigan State University, where he earned a degree in human development and family studies. He was a 3-time letterman and a member of the Big Ten Conference Championship team in 2010. So that's about Coach Hammock, right? So, Coach Hammock, this is the year of show and tell, right? Our linebackers missed a lot of tackles. Our specials teams missed a lot of tackles. I didn't say his job was on the line. I said he's going to have to show and prove as a coach. I'm not putting his job on the line, but I am going to say from one season to the next, we're going to need to see improvement, right? I'm not saying that, Braxton, please stop. Mm-mm. I'm not saying that he his job's on the line, but what I am saying is y'all better tackle. That's what I'm saying, right? And the reason why I say that is because I can attribute some things like our tackling and, the breakdown in coverage or picking up. I can attribute that to continuously running that 2-man front. Okay. The 2-man front, I hated it. And we didn't have necessarily the personnel to pick it up. So it's like the opposing team would just run right through us. Couldn't stop a nosebleed sometimes. I'm not going to say all the time, but especially when we're running the 2-man front, it wasn't conducive for our defense. And some of that, it's not necessarily about the personnel. It's the scheme. Sometimes it is the personnel. You got to wrap up your tackles. So, and we can also attribute that to you having to do special teams and linebackers. So now there's a couple of things that we know for sure that are going to change. Number one, Coach Hammett can focus on just the linebackers. Number two, Coach Hammett doesn't have to necessarily worry about that 2-man front continually being stuffed down his throat. Number three, since you're knowing that the tackling was the issue, we're gonna focus on tackling, and then he doesn't have to focus on special teams. So I feel like the scheme is going to be different. I feel like Coach Quinn saw the breakdown in the defense from last year, so he'll know what adjustments need to be made, what changes need to be made. Like, it's a no-brainer. He was literally watching the game and having to control the passing game, the defensive passing game. So he's got that, I'm sure. And so he's going to make those adjustments. But you got to have them linebackers straight. Linebackers are going to have to turn it up a notch this year, right? And so at a later date, we'll be doing the roster breakdowns. For me personally, last year I did the breakdowns, right? And spring practice and all that, a lot of the roster got dropped. So I kept on having to make adjustments. So I'm going to wait a little bit, let them get through a couple of practices. Let them get to a couple of practices, right? And see where it goes from there. On when you play a video game and when you're playing a football video game and the game kind of glitches and it misses a tackle. It's tackling thin air and it's missing. So that's kind of what was happening. We was having a couple of glitches. All right. So we gonna give Coach Hammock a pass though for last year, right? And then when I say pass, what I basically mean is this is the year, Coach Hammock. We know that you're going to be able to focus on the linebackers. You don't have to worry about that 2-3. Well, I don't know. I wonder. So this is my only thing about Coach Quinn that I have questions about. Will Coach Quinn focus on believing in his defensive backs more? I mean, I want to say that they're not going to run the that two-man front. But then you also have to look at Coach Quinn coming from being a defensive backs coach. Is he going to trust his cornerbacks and safeties a little bit more, that he'll have more of those on the field? Me personally, I will hope they will go back to the 4-3. 4-3, please. Me personally. All right. Go to 4-3. But we'll just have to see. And also knowing your opponent. So for instance, all corner run heavy, we need to have a 5-man front. FAMU, they talked about their running backs and was bragging on their running backs, and for some reason we were still trying to stuff a 2-man front up there. But anyway, that's the past, right? So this is Coach Mario Magana, Coach Mario. Coach Mario was here last year, and he actually was a cornerback / defensive back, kind of like a coaching assistant necessarily. So at this point, he just got elevated to full cornerback coach, right? And they have not updated the website yet. That will take place pretty much after the spring game. That's when that's going to take place. But he was a cornerback, so now he's just basically the full defensive cornerback coach right now. So let me go ahead and read his bio. In spring 2022, he joined the University of Central Missouri staff. He coached safety DeAndre Glover, an All-American and second team MIAA All-Conference. Jordan Scruggs was the first-time starter, and he gave less than 50 yards up. He played corner, strong safety, and free safety from 2018 to 2022 at Williams Jewell College in Liberty, Missouri. So Coach Magana, all he has to do is continue what they did last year, which was no-fly zone. As long as we got the no-fly zone, we're good, right? DB University formations, no-fly zones, interceptions. You're not coming this way. Don't throw it up in the air. And, of course, I would definitely like to see some of those interceptions taken back, or, a pick six. I wouldn't mind seeing that. That's exciting. Moving into this season, we have some great players that are returning this year from that secondary. And so we have BJ Washington that will be returning. Now, we also did lose quite a bit, but we revamped it, right? We re-upped it with this recruiting class. So Jaheim Hazel's no longer with us. Kevrick Wiggins will return. Jalen Hughes will return. 3-star Nyreek Sharp out of Stockbridge High School. He was recruited last year. He'll be here. I want to say, I don't want to put these other names out because I'm not too sure about those. But I know for sure, we got K5, Jalen Hughes, Nyreek Sharp, and then we've added quite a few. I want to say Mitchell too. Is he a linebacker or a corner? I thought he was on the corner. Like I said, I don't want to necessarily name rosters right now just because they fluctuate a lot. They fluctuate. So I don't necessarily want to, but Kedron Culligan should still be here. Isaias Guthrie should still be here. BJ Washington at the safeties. Bruce Batman Mitchell. Deseric Patton. John Brown III. So basically what I'm saying is with the additions that we got from this recruiting class and the safeties and defensive backs that we already had, we're going to continue that no-fly zone. Yes, please. Let me get some likes up in here. Hit the share and the subscribe button. Listen, if you are over here scouting, I promise you, no one will know that you liked. Hit the like button. No one's gonna know. You can go ahead and still hit it if you're scouting. You getting a little bit nervous because you see that we put it out there, and I'm giving you the update. Don't be scared. Just go ahead and hit the like button. So yes, I don't want to necessarily go too far into the roster and reveal everything that we got, but like I said, this elevation for Coach Magana, it was natural, right? He already had a dominant season, and right? So right now at this point, we're just keeping it in the family. If the scheme changes, the numbers can still be great, but may see a little bit more flying. Might not. I don't know. Some of those weapons that we already saw on there, it's dangerous. Dangerous out there. Don't get caught out there lacking. So, of course, the announcement of Javonte Jones as the special teams and outside linebacker coach. This was a team favorite, right? Because Javonte Jones is bleeds blue and white, from Jackson State. Hey, I ain't got nothing to do with the timeouts now. Coach Javonte was a two-time All-American in 2015 and 16 at Jackson State as a linebacker. In 2023, he was the defensive coordinator for Louisville High School in Louisville, Mississippi. He served as a defensive coordinator at Louisville High School and led a defense that saw the school win 3 Mississippi High School Athletic Association 4A state championships over the last 5 seasons. The former Jackson State star was a 2-time All-American selection as an outside linebacker, defensive end with 351 tackles, 77 tackles for loss, and 18.5 sacks during his career with the Tigers. I don't know who put somebody in timeout. That ain't none of my business. I'm just over here doing my little show. So I don't know who did that. Coach Javonte Jones, this is a great hire. We've already talked about this for several reasons, but I think one of the main reasons that I like this hire is because Coach Javonte Jones embodies what it means to be a Jackson State Tiger, to play for the team, to have love for the Tigers. And I feel like this is going to be an upgrade for the outside linebackers and the kids coming up off the edge, right? Our edge rushers, they didn't see as much. I feel like they didn't get the blitzing off like they could have, right? Because we were playing that 2-man front a lot, and the blitzing, it just wasn't giving what it needed to give, right? We needed more blitzing. We needed more forced fumbles. We needed more quarterback hurries. And can we attribute that to some of the teams that we played having excellent offensive lines? Yeah, you could say that. But I think for Javonte to come in and work with those outside linebackers coming up off the edge, this year I'm expecting for forced fumbles, more sacks, quarterback sacks, and quarterback hurries. Ooh. Oh my goodness. As always, we got the rattlers in the chat who they claim they don't care about Jackson State, but they be watching. They be watching. They ain't had no breakdown for all their coaches, but they be watching us. Hey. All right. I would like you guys to meet my production assistant. Come say hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
Braxton.
Are you my production assistant? Yeah. How much are you charging me a month for this?
20.
20 what?
$20.
$20? Oh, okay. All right. So I've hired a production assistant, y'all. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, production assistant, for bringing me something to drink.
What's up?
So I hired a production assistant, so he helps turn on the lights, make sure my microphone is turned on, and gets me something to drink.
Cheers.
Cheers. So, anyway, somebody get the snake away. Somebody, we need some snake away. No, I'm just playing. Y'all can watch and see. They got the snake away available on Amazon.com. And, you know, them rattlers, they be in the chat. Uh-oh. Mr. Year of the Tiger is in the chat. Year of the Tiger's here. So once again, I think that if I had to rate the top 5 coaching upgrades, coaching movement, so this is the ones that I would choose. Number 1, I'm gonna choose 3, and I'm not gonna rank them. So hiring of Coach Javancy Jones, the upgrade of Coach Quinn from defensive backs coach to defensive coordinator, and the general manager position for Coach O. I feel like those are the top 3 hiring changes, upgrades, and additions to Jackson State's team that I'm most excited about. How you doing, Mr. Ford?
Hey.
I'm good.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and the D-line coach. I like that. I like Coach Callie hire. That was like that threw me for a curveball, right? That was unexpected. It just came out of nowhere. It's like, what? Even the folks in the SEC is over there commenting on it every chance they get. How you doing, Mr. Ford?
All right, I'm just getting in. I went to a basketball tournament down at Georgia State tonight. The largest classification met at their arena. And I saw a kid who's headed to Rutgers. I have been hearing about him. I wanted to see him in person. Yeah, he's about 6'8", 6'9", got a big-time jump shot. To me, strikes me as more of a small forward, big guard, sees the floor, really good passer, but he has a big-time jump shot. He can shoot it from anywhere on the floor. They call him Ace. He's at his school is McKeachin High School. Now next week they've got to go to Macon, Georgia, the Macon Coliseum, which I'm thinking that they're gonna lose. They got to play the Grayson Rams, and I really don't think they're gonna. Grayson has more depth. I thought that McKeachin was not a well-coached team, but I really think that Grayson's going to beat them next week for the state championship.
Mr. Ford. Thank you, Dr. D. What do you think about our coaching staff? Mr.
You know what? You got to tell me some stuff. It came across my phone yesterday. It was from Zoe and them. I saw something, and they had the coaches' names and all of that. And I saw about Coach Quinn being the defense coordinator. Now, who is the offense coordinator?
We don't have one. It's Coach TC. It's Coach TC.
Okay, so he's going to call the plays next year?
You know he's calling the plays.
Okay, all right. I didn't know. Okay.
Why? Okay, Mr. Ford, we got like all these different hires. And the one thing y'all worried about is the offensive coordinator?
That's the hardest thing to do. Remember, in offense and defense is easier to put together than offense. Offense involves a lot of timing, different personnel sets. Offense is harder. That's why I don't know if I told you or Doc, when I first got into coaching, the principals would tell us they wanted an offensive person to be the head coach because they thought that putting together the offense was harder than putting together the defense. And at that time, I didn't understand it, but I do believe that now, because I've worked on both sides of the ball, and it is now for us. When I coach defense, we wanted just pure athletes. We want, and that's I heard you talking about Jackson State's defense. I don't think it's going to be a problem because y'all got all them athletes. And see, one thing you have to understand about them athletes Jackson's got. See, even if them guys get beat, they're so fast they can recover. Now, personally, me, I would put 6, 7 in the box, and I would tell anybody try and run. And then I would adjust to the pass. But the main thing I would take from them people in the SWAC, I would let them know you ain't running nothing. Ain't going to be no running. Okay, you might get a little pass off now and then, but you ain't running nothing. That's what I would do.
So you talking about what scheme is that? 6-2?
You could do a lot. You can do 50. You can go 52. You can go 4-2-5. You can go 6-2. You can see when you got the kind of speed that y'all got right now in that interior line and on that defense. Sometimes you can walk up 8, 9 players on that offensive line. I mean, on that line of scrimmage, and man up on the outside.
So we're getting ready to move. I wanted to start with the defense. We are getting ready. You started talking about the offense right on time, Mr. Ford, because actually we're getting ready to move into the offense now.
Okay.
So when I think about offensive coordinator, I know we talked about this a little bit on the past shows, but my thinking was for Coach TC that he could get a young offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Who wouldn't mind him taking over the play calling. You know, some offensive coordinators, if they hear that you're going to be doing the play calling, they don't necessarily want to be here, right? But for a younger guy, they wouldn't mind sharing the play calling with the head coach, which I feel like that, I kind of feel like that's the avenue he should take. If he's going to name somebody as that is not what a production assistant does. I'm gonna need you to move. You're supposed to be behind the camera, making sure my camera working. Sorry. So I think that offensively, I'm confident in TC's play calling. We've seen what he can do, right?
Yeah, I saw him at Central. He can play call. I'm just saying that Jackson State program is so big right now, and there's so many demands. And
breaking
you know, they are sideline. Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit better.
I just feel like he needs to delegate that.
Right. And I think that's one of those things where,
I think he needs to delegate.
yeah. So of course we talked about Coach Manny Ramirez on a previous show, and his time at Texas Southern and Texas Tech and all of his experience in the NFL. If I'm looking at whether or not something is an upgrade or downgrade or, you know, equal, I feel like we're going to see, because I feel like Coach Deo did a great job with the roster. At the offensive line, I really feel like we've been able to add an upgrade to that position. Like, I really like the young men that we brought in, right? And I feel like Manny Ramirez is not going to have any types of issues coaching those young men up. So we've already went over Coach Manny Ramirez. I can just do a little spiel about him real quick again, just to refresh in everybody's memory about him. He was the offensive line run game coordinator at Texas Southern. Now, what I will say is this: the Texas Southern offensive line, or maybe, I don't know who's to blame for Andrew Body. Maybe it was the schemes, the play calling. I just know that they had a chance to build a team surrounding Andrew Body. And it's just kind of like one of those things where I guess it depends on the play calling or something, right? So he's an NFL vet. He had basically 3 seasons at Texas Southern. He's a Houston native, so that's good for recruiting purposes to have a Texas coach on staff. He's had 9 years in the NFL, in addition to working on both the college and high school levels in various capacities. He retired from the NFL in 2015. He accepted a position at his alma mater, Texas Tech, and in Lubbock, and he was former director of player development. He also served as an academic liaison for the football staff, where he developed life skill curriculums and also coordinated all community service activities. So I'm sure that he might be continuing that in some capacity or contributing to it. After 3 seasons at Texas Tech, Ramirez moved to the high school ranks and accepted a position as the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach for Spring Lake E-Wraith High School. He moved to Fort Worth, Texas, after accepting the position of assistant coach offensive line at Diamond Hill High School. So he's been coaching in Texas, so he has some of those Texas circuits for recruiting down pat, right? Before joining the coaching ranks, Ramirez played offensive line for 9 seasons in the NFL. He played in 83 games, including 65 starts with both the Detroit Lions and the Denver Broncos. He was also the starting center for a duration of the legendary quarterback Peyton Manning's career with the organization. Denver totaled 49 wins during Ramirez's 4 seasons, with future 4 trips to the playoffs and an appearance in the Super Bowl 2013. He returned to the Lions in 2015, where he played in 16 games while making 7 starts. The Lions drafted Ramirez in the 4th round of the 2007 NFL Draft after a stellar 4-year career at Texas Tech. So he's got experience. I don't know what happened to Mr. Ford. Maybe he's going to call back in. I don't know. But I don't know who in there doing that, putting folks in timeout, but that's not me. It's not me. I'm not doing it. I didn't do anything. All right. So that's Coach Ramirez at the offensive line. Offensive analyst and assistant offensive line coach is Caleb Graham. And he's been on the roster. So let me pull that up about Caleb Graham because I found his information. Okay, here it is right here. So, a little bit about Caleb Graham. So, Caleb Graham was an offensive lineman. His hometown is Terry, Mississippi. He played at Terry High School. So, he actually spent the 2020 and 2021 seasons at Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi. He redshirted in the 2021 spring season, appeared in 9 games for the Tigers in the 2021 fall season, leading them to an 11-2 record. He prepped for head coach Ronnie Smith at Terry High School in Terry, Mississippi, was a 3-time All-American, 3-time All-District selection, and was top-ranked offensive line in the Jackson metro area. So Caleb went to Jackson State, and it looks like he transferred to Jacksonville State, right? And now he's been at Jackson State as an offensive analyst. And so there's Mr. Ford.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having a million problems.
You sound better now. So he's the offensive analyst and assistant offensive line coach. But Caleb Graham, he's from Terry, Mississippi. So once again, we got some coaches all up and through Mississippi.
Right. That's good.
Coaches from Georgia, because our defensive line coach, he's from Riverdale, Georgia.
Right. That's right. I had read about him. I think he's a graduate of Tuskegee.
Yes. And then you have the offensive line coach. He's from Texas.
Yeah, Texas Tech. Yeah. Like I said, he was a quality hire. He's a good man.
All right, now we're gonna move on to Vincent Marshall, the wide receivers coach, right? And he's coming from Norfolk. Are you familiar with him?
Yeah.
Vincent Marshall?
Yeah, I know that he was on Dawson Odom's staff up at Norfolk. Now, was he in the SWAC before he went to Norfolk? Was he at Southern?
Let me read this. I'm gonna read it.
Did he ever go to Southern?
Yeah, he was at Southern. How you know that? I forgot where he be.
Yeah, because I mean, Dawson probably took him with him. He probably joined him up there or something, but I'm not surprised he's from Southern. Yeah.
Okay. So Vincent Marshall, he had his 3rd season at Norfolk State football staff. He served as a wide receivers coach and special teams coordinator. His first year with Spartans featured a high-power offense. Passing game was a key component of that unit. Wideout Justin Smith earned first-team All-MEAC honors after ranking 2nd in the conference in both receptions and yard receiving. And freshman Daquan Felton also ranked in the top 10 in both categories. Marshall came to NSU after spending 1 year as a receivers coach at Southern University, while the Jaguars Southern ranked 9th in the FCS in yards per completion and 39th in passing offense during the 2021 spring season. Southern finished the season with a 5-1 record and ranked number 20 in the final FCS coaches poll. Marshall had stunts as a running backs coach at Missouri Southern State, as a recruiting analyst for his alma mater, the University of Houston, and as an offensive quality control coach at Syracuse in 2016. Marshall's first stop at the Division I level came as a graduate assistant at Bowling Green. He worked with the Falcons receivers in 2014 and running backs in 2015. Bowling Green made 2 bowl appearances, won 2 MAC division titles, and won the 2015 MAC championship during his tenure. At Bowling Green, he helped tutor first-team All-MAC performer Travis Green, who rushed for nearly 1,300 yards and played in the 2016 NFLPA All-Star Game. He also coached 1,000-yard receiver Roger Lewis in 2014. He's worked in Texas, and he was a secondary coach at Seguin High School in Texas. So he played collegiately at the University of Houston. He joined the team as a walk-on, and 1 year later set school bowl records for receptions, 7, and receiving yards, 157, against Hawaii in the 2003 Hawaii Bowl. He was a 2-time All-Conference USA selection, earning first-team honors in 2005. In 2006, he was named Conference USA Championship Game MVP and set a Liberty Bowl record with the 201 receiving yards. Marshall graduated as the school's all-time leader in both receiving yards, 3,770, and receptions, 272. He ranked second and third, respectively, in those categories to this day, and he played in the 2007 Hula Bowl All-Star Game. He did sign up as an undrafted free agent with the Atlanta Falcons, and then he played in the Canadian Football League. So
that's a big time resume you got there.
Yeah. So that,
big time resume.
That's the wide receivers coach, Vincent Marshall. He's been a little bit of everywhere, so I like that. You got a mix of some young coaching staff, some experience.
Did he work on the Dino Babers when he was at Bowling Green and at Syracuse? Was he under Dino Babers? Dino was at Bowling Green and Dino was at Syracuse. He's now the offense coordinator out at Arizona. I was just wondering if he worked on the Dino.
So he was in Bowling Green in 2014, 2015, and then he was at Syracuse all these other years. So I don't know if that would line up or not. Let me see.
Right. I was just wondering if he was because Dino is a great teacher of that.
It says in 2014 and 2015, Bowling Green made 2 appearances, and then on Dino Babers' resume, it says that he was the head coach in 2014 and 2015. So that would line up with him being under him in that time frame.
Well, let me say this now: if he's been on the Dino, he could be an offense coordinator candidate. Because he
Mr. Ford is in the transfer portal.
So Dino Babers, he did coach at Bowling Green from 2014 to 2015 in the Mid-American Conference. So that would place Vincent Marshall under Dino Babers.
So he also in high school. Hey, Mr. Ford, how you doing?
So if he was on the Dino, he knows a lot of offensive football.
How you doing, Mr. Ford?
Y'all, EA sent me $2, and he said that y'all are putting him in timeout for nothing. Thank you, EA, for the $2 donation. Please don't put EA in timeout. Let him talk a little bit of mess.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
How you doing, Mr. Ford?
Hey, man. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing all right. He did. I meant to say, y'all was on Vincent Marshall. He did play his playing career. He did high school. He played under legendary coach Sam Harrell at Ennis High School.
Okay.
Which is Graham's. That's his father right there. Graham Harrell from Texas Tech.
And
he also played under Art Browns
Yeah. Okay.
at University of Houston.
Right.
So
Okay.
he played on the Art Browns. So he got some coaching. He got some coaching experience in that. And of
Oh.
course, you said
Uh-huh.
he was under Dino
Yeah.
Babers. I think doing he did big things. Of course, he was under Dawson Odoms over at Norfolk for last 3 years.
Okay. Uh-huh. Right.
So I think we continue. I think he brings in his wealth of knowledge as being a receiver. Uh, with also him being a small receiver at the time, he was only 5'7". He holds pretty much a lot of records in the state of Texas as far as high school football with receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. And of course, like you said, he holds a couple of records at University of Houston in receiving
Right.
yards and receptions and touchdowns also. So I think he's going to he's a good addition for TC, for him to learn under TC and everything.
Right. Hmm.
And especially with him and TC being former receivers in college.
Right. Hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Who have you already talked about? Who you talked about already? Timona.
We did the defense basically.
Callie James as the defensive line coach.
Yeah, we've talked about the whole defense.
Oh, okay.
We're on offense now.
Okay.
I just want to make a special announcement. Unfortunately, EA, Miss Gina said to keep you in timeout, so I can't take you out. I'm not going to take you out. Now, once you get off your 5 minutes, just stop. I don't even know what y'all are talking about in the chat, but stop talking mess, EA. EA gonna end up getting a permanent suspension. Oh, what is EA saying to y'all? I don't know. Let me focus on the. Thank you, Miss Gina, and thank you, Dr. D, for your donation, and thank you, Resilient, for your donation. Thank you, EA, for your donation as well. I appreciate all of the donation. It goes directly back into the channel. So what do you rate this? If you could give it a rating, Mr. Ford, what do you rate the wide receiver coach hire? Like if you're doing rating from
Oh, that.
A, B, C, D, or F, what do you rate that one? Mr. Ford, I can't hear you.
I think his phone messing up.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you rate him, Doc? What you rate?
Give him a B plus.
Okay. So they gave him a B plus. Okay, so let me end this first little poll. Let me end that. Y'all are over here cutting up in this chat. I don't even know what y'all are. Okay, so for the poll that we just did, I asked, what did you guys think about the overall?
I voted. I gave it a B. The only reason why I gave it a B, it's not an A, is because we don't know who the offensive coordinator is yet. He hasn't found one yet.
The offensive coordinator is TC Taylor. There is no like.
I don't know. He might. I think he could do. I think he could do. I know he could do double duty as being a head coach and an OC. But I'm with like what Mr. Ford said. I would rather for him be more of a CEO type coach.
I feel like he was a
Right.
CEO type coach last year. So 43% of you out of 166 votes said that you give Jackson State an A. 34% say B. So basically 77% of everybody is rating Jackson State's overall coaching staff as an A or a B. 16% said a C, and then 4% said D or F. That 4% is probably EA, parody, and a couple of other rattlers. I gave it a C. I will grade it after the first game. So there's a couple of people who basically they want to see what it looks like all together. Everything on paper can look okay, right?
True. It can look okay on paper.
So Coach Perry is saying that it's time to install an offense, right? And I feel like for Coach TC, like I said, he might. Oh, thank you. EA sent me $10, y'all. He said that the Rattlers are supporting me. Thank you, EA, for the Cash App. So what I wanted to say is that everything looks good on paper, right? And then you can see it in
real time.
So one thing that I can say about that is the our offensive coordinator from last year, right? On paper, right? I mean, on paper,
it looked good.
On paper, we was like, okay. Which, you know what? Overall, 7-4 overall. I cannot be mad at 7-4 for that huge of a roster changeover, for that coaching staff change. I'm okay with 7-4. Of course, I'm gonna talk mess and say we're going 12-1 or 11-1 or undefeated. I'm gonna do that every time. But overall, I'm happy with what we did, and
I feel like we could have went either. We could have went 8-3 or 9-2. It just those two losses. The loss to Alcorn and the loss to Pablo to Bama State.
That you gave away. That the defense gave away.
So you said the defense gave that away, Mr.
Yeah,
Ford?
they gave those games away. They made no adjustments. They gave those games away. Doc is right. That team should have finished 9-2 last year.
Defensively, what was that? Was that play calling on the defense?
Well, it's about the adjustment.
Well, the main thing in that game against Alcorn, he didn't put no pressure on that Allen kid, and that burned him deep. Them wide receivers was burning him deep.
Yeah, because Monterio Hunt.
Alcorn game.
I don't know. That Alcorn game, that was a wild game, right? Because I want to say Alcorn intercepted the ball and we're like, oh, the game is over. And then something took place. There was some type of penalty. So then Jackson State got the ball back and we had a chance to drive to get to get a touchdown to win the game. It was just so much stuff going on at that game. And defensively, I just wanted to see them shut down the rushing. Like that was it for me, was the inability to adjust to the run game. I was very upset with folks just running through our offense like
I can't say.
Running through our defense like a nosebleed. Ford is right. Allen had all day to throw the ball deep.
Right, I would say it wasn't the run defense. It was the pass defense with the Alcorn game, and then with Bama State, it was the run defense because, I mean, it's just the way that team was built. That team is built big, heavy. To they front seven is built to stop the run. So, and then of course if you got on as your corners for Bama State, you got one dude that's 6'4", and another dude that's 6'3", and they playing straight up, they playing straight up man on you. They couldn't get around, but then too, the inability to throw the ball vertical. is what hurt in those games too. Because if you watch those two games, if you watch both of those games, you see how we were throwing it. We was throwing it from sideline to sideline instead of vertical. Like you want to be the defense like that, throw the ball vertical. Like um um and to me, when I was looking at the QBs, I was looking at so like when Jason Brown came into the game, and I'm like this, you run a 7 to 10 yard hitch. Soon as that, and Mr. Ford will he could attest to this, is as soon as that receiver hit his spot and he turns around, that ball should be already to him. Like it should already be to him. Like soon as he turn, that ball should be right there. It should be close to his hands, and then receiver makes a turn and he goes upfield. That's where I see where we were ineffective at as far as throwing the ball. We were throwing it sideline to sideline. Like I didn't like the fact where we was throwing the ball from the far hash to off the far hash to the sideline where it almost got damn near picked off. And it was plenty of times in that game, in that game, both of those games, especially that Alcorn game, because Robert McDaniel Robert McDaniel damn near picked off 2 of those passes when they was throwing it from to the from the far hash to the sideline. And I feel like you can't do it, especially if you got the receivers that can actually get up the field. Then,
So I agree with that. I don't feel like we should be worried about the offensive coordinator too much, though. I feel like that is kind of like, with what we have installed, I think maybe the coaching staff decided, look, TC is going to take over the play calling. And then, like you said, the wide receivers coach, Vincent Marshall, if he needs to step up, then there's a possibility that he can.
Right. Did you talk about Coach O already?
No, that's later on. That's like football staff. He's been moved. We just finished Vincent Marshall. So now we're gonna switch over to Rip Kirk, right? So Rip Kirk has been moved to our quarterback coach, and Rip Kirk was actually already on our team as an offensive analyst. So he moves from an offensive analyst to now the quarterback coach.
So who was our quarterback coach last season?
Quinn Billerman.
That's right.
What's his background? This new quarterback coach. Where did he graduate from?
So let me pull it up. Kirk was a walk-on quarterback in 2017 at Mississippi State. He played quarterback at Itawamba Community College.
Okay.
And baseball at Meridian Community College. He graduated from South Panola High School in Batesville.
Now he should know some football if he went to South Panola.
Yeah, that
was a big-time high school program.
He called that the University of South Panola.
Yeah, he should know something.
They churn out D1 athletes out the wazoo.
Yeah. So and once again, I'm not saying with my chest that there won't be an offensive coordinator hired, but I feel like if they do hire an offensive coordinator, don't be surprised if it's like
from within,
either from inside the coaching program or some younger coach who doesn't mind. Because if you're hire a seasoned offensive coordinator, he's not going to want to take that back seat to the head coach calling plays.
Well, it goes without saying. Now, if you're the quarterback coach, you basically gonna have a lot of say in the offensive coordination.
Right.
So whoever's the quarterback, a lot to say. There,
You
Right.
correct.
in the middle of
Yeah.
everything. Remember, quarterback has to touch the ball. Yeah. So whoever this back coach, he's naturally going to be looked at as the offense coordinator.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Because most offense coordinators are quarterback coaches.
Right. So that's why I feel like for Jackson State, they might have just some unwritten talked about, like, okay, you're gonna be the quarterback's coach. We're gonna pull from you for offensive coordinator when need be. Same thing for Vincent Marshall, right? And then TC is gonna be the offensive coordinator.
So this guy you talking about, the quarterback, he played on the mic.
You talking about at Mississippi State?
Yes.
Let's pull it up.
I was saying the guy that's your quarterback coach, did he play under Mike Leach?
It should be, because when did Mike Leach get to Mississippi State? He got there in what?
What about, he did about 4 years, didn't he? What did he do? 4?
Mike Leach was there. No, he's only been the head coach from 2020 to 2022.
Oh yeah, he passed away. He was under Dan Mullen.
Oh, he's under Dan. Okay, well, he should know some offense. Dan was an offensive mind.
Yeah, he was under Dan Mullen.
Oh, okay. Well, he still should know some ball. I mean, he should know some offense. Dan was pretty good offensively.
That's the one who developed that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He wasn't. Dan's biggest problem was he always wanted to take that. I can't think of that defense coordinator's name. He always would.
Was he trying to get Charlie Strong?
Was here? His name was was it Gresham?
Who are you talking about? Mississippi State now, Mr. Ford, in 2017.
Yeah. I was saying that Dan Mullen was a good offensive coach. His problem was he'd always pick the wrong people to run his defense.
Yeah,
he picked the wrong guy.
So he had,
at Florida.
And he had as his Billy Gonzalez as the co-offensive coordinator, John Hevesi. The defensive coordinator was Todd Grantham.
Todd Grantham came from.
He was a loser.
He came from Georgia at the time.
From Georgia, and he was at Louisville too. He was a loser.
Oh Lord, was he a loser? Well,
he was a loser.
All right.
I think when Grantham was at Mississippi State, he was trying to install that defense because he played that heavy 3-4 defense, like heavy defensive line, heavy middle inside linebackers and some slow outside linebackers.
Mr. Ford, you over there sounding like a robot. Mr. Ford, you over there sounding like a robot. All right, let's go to running back Eric Gallen. Running back coach Eric Gallen. You ready for this one, Mr. Ford?
Yeah.
All right. So Eric Gallen, last year he was the tight ends coach for North Carolina A&T. Gallen was coaching tight ends at A&T after serving as offensive coordinator at Robert Morris University last season, in which one of the Colonials' opponents was the A&T Aggies. Gallen also coached tight ends at Robert Morris University. Before arriving at Robert Morris University, Gallen served as the Dang, I got word salad. Running backs coach at Brevard College starting in 2017.
Right.
Beginning in 2015, Gallen joined the Tennessee State staff, serving as the program's running back coach. He
Okay.
also was the lead housing liaison between the university and the athletics department. Okay, lead housing liaison. Some of y'all gonna have to double dip some of your duties that you already know how to do, honey. Y'all gonna have to double dip. Gallen also had the role of summer camp and clinic director, including the Little Tigers youth camp. Gallen's running backs averaged 123 yards per game, totaling 1,860 rushing yards. Gallen also served as the running back coach at Youngstown State from 2013 to 2015. During his season, Gallen coached Missouri Valley Football Conference newcomer and freshman of the year Martin Ruiz. He was also a Jerry Rice Award finalist after rushing for 1,094 yards, 15 touchdowns on 192 carries, including 4 100-yard performances. Ruiz was one of only 3 players in NCAA Division I FCS football to rush for more than 1,000 yards in 2013, joining Appalachian State's Marcus Cox and A&T's Tariq Cohen. In 2014, Ruiz rushed 1,325 yards and 10 touchdowns on 265 carries, earning second team All MVFC honors. Wow. All right, let me finish this out. Ruiz formed a lethal combination at Youngstown State with Jody Webb. So before coaching on the collegiate level, Gallen served as the head coach at George Jenkins High School in Lakeland, Florida. And Gallen worked as the Eagles head coach in 2012 after spending the previous 4 seasons as the offensive coordinator on the staff. So we have somebody else who has offensive coordinator experience. He played collegiately at Kansas State as a running back for head coach Bill Snyder from 1989 to 1992. He's a 3-time letter winner.
Yeah.
He served as the team captain in 1992. During the Wildcat career, he rushed for 1,960 yards, 447 carries, totaling 2,476 all-purpose yards. 5 of his 7 career 100-yard rushing games came during his junior season. He had a brief NFL career with the New England Patriots, and then he returned to the state home of Florida.
So you said he was at Kansas State in 1992.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's when
1989 to 1992 under Coach Bill Snyder.
Okay, so that's when Kansas State was coming of age. So he was playing in the old Mr. Ford on here, he was playing in the old Big 8. So
Yeah.
that's
He should have played with Michael Bishop. Did he play with Michael Bishop?
Michael Bishop was later on. Michael Bishop was from 90. Michael Bishop was like 95 to like 98. Mm-mm.
I'm over here talking mess, and y'all ain't even hearing me.
I about to say I thought something wrong with my headphones.
Okay. Well, I was trying to tell Brother George because he asked, he said, is this speculation? Have not heard officially announced. Is he talking about the running backs coach?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So what I wanted to say to Mr. Brother George is that anybody that's announced in this particular show has been verified. And I dropped the staff changes and additions. You can also go to the Jackson State football YouTube. You can go to Jackson State Twitter, and you will see all of these people with their Jackson State paraphernalia on with their title from the official page. Okay? All right. So then, did you guys not even hear the whole spiel about where Eric came from? Or did you hear that?
The Kansas State? Yeah, we heard that.
Oh, okay. I'm like, dang, I don't want to have to do that again.
Nah, he didn't. Yeah, Mr. Ford, he didn't play under Michael Bishop. I don't know who the quarterback was at that time, but that's when Kansas State was coming
Basically,
in.
what he's saying is he's a train, right? He knows how to get it done, right? Just blast him through.
Yeah,
so did you hear me say all the yards that he ran, or no?
Yeah, he ran for over 2,000 yards in his career at Kansas State. So, and Bill Snyder is a Hall of Fame head coach, college football Hall of Fame head coach.
So that's from his coaching tree. So we got Bill Snyder's coaching tree over here. Coach, well, he was a player, but he played under him. So, it's interesting that they bought Eric Gallen to Jackson State, right? Because now I would be thinking, hey, Miss Scott, I would be thinking that are they getting ready to be a run first, or what? I think that he's perfect for Irv, Mulligan. Who else do we have? Ezekiel Johnson. Didn't we just get another running back too?
Nathan Blount.
Like, I feel like this is a really good hire for our running backs, right? And we still have Coach Morton on the staff as well. So he just moved. They just, all right. Offensive analyst, assistant tight ends coach, Bobby Mitchell. Bobby Mitchell was already on the team last year, right?
Yep.
Okay. And so once again, we have some, you would call this some continuity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about Bobby Mitchell. So Bobby Mitchell's hometown is Brandon, Mississippi. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
Yep. He's a Mississippi native. He played running back in Brandon High School. And let's see. He played for head coach Brad Peterson at Brandon High School. And he played for Mississippi College in football. That's what I got for Mr. Bobby Mitchell. Is that he played. So he's from, how far is Brandon, Mississippi from Jackson? Like 20?
No, probably just on the other side of Pearl.
So it's like 25 minutes, right?
No, like 10 to 12 minutes.
10 to 12 minutes? It takes 10 to 12 minutes to get to Pearl. Ain't Pearl off 80?
No, you can get to like it take 5 minutes to get to Pearl.
Well, anyway, he's Mississippi native, right? And he's been at Jackson State for quite some time. So at this point, you are just kind of like putting some names and faces together, right? Because Mr. Mitchell's been there. Everybody knows Coach Beef, Director of Football Sport Performance. Okay, people are saying 15 to 18 minutes from JSU. Granny Ann saying 12. Mr. Warren saying 20 to 25. Somebody saying 15. Some of y'all be speeding. I can tell right now y'all driving fast.
Shoot, I be blowing through
Yeah,
there.
you can tell because, Brandy says 15. All right. So what we're saying is but some of y'all, all right now, Pearl and Jackson connect. Okay. I mean, I want to say I lived in Pearl for a summer. But I remember it being literally like 10 minutes away. 10 to 12 minutes. Y'all are over here. I don't know. I thought Pearl was off of 80. Doc, you don't take Pearl. How do you get to Pearl?
20.
Just drive careful going through Rankin County.
Yeah, you got to drive.
Yeah,
you gotta drive
Granny Ann admitted it. She said Granny Ann admitted she did.
Yeah, you go after you leave out of Pearl. When you get to Brandon, you got to slow down.
They must be driving from West Jackson with those times. I don't know. But anyway, basically what I'm saying is he's a Mississippi native. And so that particular coaching staff, you can go. I figured you could get there from Highway 80. All right. And so then our head football athletic trainer is Ocean Adams. And right now we're on the football staff. So we've moved out of the coaching and we are now on the coaching staff. And let's see. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Ocean Adams. So she's a Radford University alumni.
Radford, ain't that in North Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where the new offensive coordinator from Alabama State, he's a graduate of that school.
Chris Barnett?
Yeah, I think that's his school. Mr. Money might need to check that, but I think he's a graduate of that school.
The Alabama State?
Yeah, he's the new Alabama State offensive coordinator.
Okay. So don't have very much on Miss Ocean Adams. But she was here last year. The reason why I say she was here last year is because her picture is on the website already. So that means she was already here. You just put names to faces. Miss Adams. And then we have Dominique Jasmine. I do not want to say her. I do not want to mess up her name. But
Pasley.
Okay, you're gonna say it. Okay, Pasley. And so Dominique Jasmine Pasley is no stranger to being an equipment manager. So Dominique Jasmine Pasley was actually an equipment manager at Prairie View A&M. And she's actually been with Jackson State for quite some time. She's responsible for management, oversight, logistics, and procurement for the all athletic apparel needs. I'm wondering if this is just for football. I think it's just for football. But at Prairie View, she was the equipment manager for all 18 sports programs. And she had been working as for the Panthers since 2015. So she's also was an athletic trainer in 2012 and 2015. She earned her bachelor's and master's degree in health from Prairie View A&M in 2015 and 17. And she's a member of the Omega Gamma chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. So Miss Paisley, Doc said it was not off of 80, Brandy. I asked him.
I usually get off of 20, so my bad. I know you can get off at highway 80.
80 right to Pearl.
But I get off. I'm on 20, so I stay on.
That's
20.
where that Walmart. I ain't been to. I went to Jackson for the Alcorn game, but before that, I hadn't been to. But I remember going to. Ain't there a Walmart off of Pearl that everybody go to?
In Pearl?
I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, so. Anyway, Miss Paisley has been at Jackson State. For quite some time, right? So this is just, once again, we're just putting names and faces together. So she's taking on that role of assistant AD in internal operations. And then we have Kiasha. I don't even know if I'm saying that. If it's Kiasha.
How
do you know? That's how you say it.
I got
Kiasha.
She's
Kiasha Trammell is from Nacogdoches, Louisiana.
Natchitoches.
Natchitoches? Oh, really? All right. So Miss Trammell actually comes from the XFL.
Ooh.
That's where she's coming from. She was an assistant equipment manager in the XFL. And before that, she was director of operations at Northwestern State University. She also was at the East-West Shrine Bowl as an intern. And before that, she was an equipment manager at University of Arkansas Pine Bluff and a graduate assistant. So
she just came in from the XFL. I think I read that she was with
the Brahmas,
the San Antonio Brahmas, and they didn't retain that team.
Right.
So
welcome, Kiasha.
Was that Reggie Barlow's team?
That was Hines Ward's team.
That was Hines Ward. Okay.
Reggie Barlow was a DC coach.
Okay, he was in Washington. Okay.
Kiasha. Okay, somebody said it's Kiasha. So it's Kiasha Trammell. I knew. Okay, did you say Kiasha Dot?
Yeah.
Okay. Kiasha. Then you have Brandon Morton. Of course, Brandon Morton was our running backs coach last year. Phenomenal job with our running backs. And he has been moved to recruiting coordinator. I don't know. This is our director of football media, Mr. Austin Robinson. This will be his second year. as the director of the football media. And so he's the one, ASVP visuals, doing all the content, right? And so he released the coaching staff. And let's talk about our new general manager, Mr. Ford and Doc. What do you guys think about Coach O being elevated to the general manager? Let me read what all that entails. Let me see if I can get that for y'all.
So I could tell you a little bit because I talked to Josh from HBCU nightly about it, and he was saying that a general manager basically is in charge of trying to make sure that you put the team to you put a team together. What he's saying is a lot Power 5 schools are going in that direction and naming a general manager.
So for Coach O, this is kind of just an upgrade. The reason why I say it's a upgrade is because a lot of what Coach O already was doing was parts of being a general manager.
Right.
So it's not like he didn't already encompass a lot of these details. So this is from the ESPN.com. It's from Alex Scarborough, The Rise of the College Football General Manager. So it says, organizing the roughly 75 recruits visiting each day last month, primarily on unofficial visits, could have been overwhelming for Georgia Tech coaches. Each recruit needed a tour, FaceTime with coaches, and maybe most importantly in the age of social media, to have their picture taken. But because of the work done by Patrick Sudds and his department, coaches don't need to worry. Everything was organized. Sudds even connected with a local car dealer who loaned them a 1970 Pontiac and a pair of Bentleys, which they parked inside Bobby Dodd Stadium for a music video. So that's weird. But anyway, we don't care nothing about all that extra stuff. But anyway, overall at Ohio State, the Buckeyes have typically hosted 58 official visitors per year, but last month alone, they hosted 51, something made more manageable by the work of Mark Batoni and his staff of 10 full-time employees. So then for Coach O, this basically is going to be an upgrade from what was already taking place. So Brandon Morton will work kind of like an assistant to the GM.
Brandon will report under Coach O. And basically that what Coach O was last year. He was the he was the recruiting coordinator, also with being the tight ends coach and the associate head coach too. So he's more of the behind the scene type person. So when you because it's hard, like in the day and age right now with NIL and the transfer, well, not just with NIL, but really with the transfer portal, it's basically like kind of like you Coach O would probably have a list of players or whatever, whoever, all the players that's in the portal, give it to Brandon, and then and Coach Morton, he'll just go out there and try to recruit the kids to come
I
in.
still feel like Coach O is going to have a huge hand in recruiting.
Yeah, he have
so
a huge
the general
hand.
manager is responsible for promoting the philosophy and objectives of the intercollegiate athletics program, including adherence to all department policies and procedures, as well as the rules and regulations of the university and the NCAA. So I feel like for Coach O, a lot of the stuff that he has been doing, he was unofficially working in that capacity as a general manager. Now he just has the title to it because he was definitely playing an integral part in those visits, organizing the visits, and a lot of, like you said, They've been doing this on the Power 5 level. So at this point, it's just a continuation of some of the things that he's already done. And you're just fine tuning it, and you have a name now to it. So
and then also, like, if you think about it, like, put it for example, like last season, let's say in the NFL last season, Bill Belichick was the head coach, but he was also the general manager of the Patriots. So he basically was like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and get these guys to try to come in and play on the team, and it's up to them, to like to the big boss man, whoever signed the check, to get them to sign on the dotted line.
Mr. Haynes said, I'm talking about everybody who works for the football team who's the water person. So on tonight's show, we only talk about the folks that they release pictures for, okay? Why are you trying to be funny? Lord have mercy. All right. And then, of course, we got T.C. Taylor, the head coach, unofficial offensive coordinator, official. It's unofficial, but all roads lead to Coach TC being the offensive coordinator because he can't. We need to see 40 and 50 points up there, okay? We need to see the 40 and the 50. Like, we're not us scoring 23 and 30. That's not good enough. We want to see 61 to 15 again. That's what we want to see. Ain't that what you want to see? I don't know about y'all. I want to see 61 and 15.
I want to see.
I want to see 59-3.
Don't say 59-3. The Rattlers might get they might get shell shocked.
No, they're not gonna get shell shocked. I want to see 59-3 and 61 and 15. What are y'all over here talking about in the chat? Let me see something. Coach O, he's telling it. Coach O getting the general manager title basically confirms TC is calling plays. This takes a lot off of TC's plate. And why does it take so much off of TC's plate? Yeah, so we want 59-3 and 61-15 again. That's what we want, okay? Pure dominance. We want to be like the Jackson State women's team. 101-51. Leave no doubt. Run it up! We want to see offenses that make sense. That's all. And I feel like Coach TC said, man, move. Let me do it. Let me do it. Y'all not doing it right. Let me go ahead and do it, right? What do you, when you hire somebody to do something and they don't do it correctly, what do? You go ahead and you do it, right? Because then if you don't do it right, you can't blame anybody but who? Yourself.
That's correct.
What they was mad for? What did they think was going to happen? We don't play mercy ball. We need to run it up on anybody every chance we get. A good old 50 piece. That's exactly what they needed. And that's what I want to see for I want to see that for the rest of the season. I want to see these next 3 games. That's what I want to see. A 50 piece. Do you like all flats or drums?
I want all flats.
Do you guys really like the flats? The flats
Man, flats is better than drums, dog. When you eating wings.
You gotta eat like twice as much though, in order for it to stick. What kind of flavor do you think Coach Reed gave out?
Lemon pepper.
Lemon pepper. I knew you was gonna say that. I was gonna say honey hot.
She had on her lemon pepper steppers today.
She had them on.
She had them on.
I would say honey hot. I like honey hot. What's your favorite flavor of wings in the chat? Lemon pepper, all flats with Cajun fries. That's what was on the. See, I like that. Drums and flats. That was Scotch bonnet pepper hot wings. If you
That's
know,
what I'm
you
about
know.
to say, Whitley.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Honey hot wing.
He knows Tamika. He was saying Jackson's known for running up the score. I like sweet and spicy with some ranch.
You.
Yeah. Oh, Carolina Gold, all flats fly hard. Yeah, we're talking about what type of flavor. What type of flavor do you like?
Hot.
Original hot? Yeah.
Braxton eating hot wings.
Flats with old fashioned salt and pepper. What dip you using, Granny Ann? What dip?
No. None.
Plain, no sauce, naked. Ooh, honey gold. I like honey gold too. What's the best wings in Jackson? Honey barbecues.
Honey barbecue.
Yeah, we're talking about wings. Now I'm hungry.
Me too.
Spicy. So yeah, that's what Coach Tamika was serving up.
I have a jetpack.
Since we're talking about wings, after every JSU game, stop by the M Bar. Okay. Mr. Rigsby said that the best wings in Jackson reside at the M Bar.
It's a head. It's a head.
We're gonna get something going at Jackson State. Like if Jackson State, between the M Bar and Jackson State, like if I think they already have a 50 cent some type of deal on Wednesdays. But if Jackson State scores 50 points, y'all, we gotta get something going with these local. He said the best wings in the state. He didn't say just in Jackson. I've never been to the M Bar before. I would love to try their food. Speaking of M Bar, nice meeting y'all. All right, so there you go. There you have it. So on Thursday is the big game. Prairie View, or not Prairie View. I'm sorry. Next Thursday is UAPB versus Jackson State.
In Jackson.
I hope they run it up.
Run it up.
Run it up.
Run it up.
That's what Coach Tamika said. She said, run it up.
Run it up.
I would play that, but I don't want to get flagged.
Congratulations to Coach Reed for what's that, 5 rings for 5 regular season crowns in the SWAC.
Boy, can you imagine?
Look, Mommy.
Can you imagine, like, you know that you're gonna be playing for in the regular season, you're gonna be playing for second place. Let me see. What's UAPB's overall? I think they in 3rd place right now. They done lost some games.
They lost a game, but they did win tonight.
They're 11-5 in the conference, 16-13 overall, right? And this is supposed to be our biggest competition, right? I don't know about you, but if somebody's my biggest competition, I'm definitely trying to run the scoreboard up on them because you kind of feel disrespected, right? You feel disrespected. Mr. Ford.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What do you think about Coach Reed's dominance of the SWAC?
She works hard. She has a vision. She knows what she wants. She said she really likes this team. You know, I was really shocked last year when they lost the tournament to Southern, and she's come back with a vengeance. And she's one of the top coaches in the country, if you ask me.
What's her conference record in the last 5 years now? 80-4.
Yeah, she's a visionary leader.
And then in the last 3 years, she only lost one conference game, which I
Yeah.
feel like that was a fluke because I think that conference game they lost to Prairie View.
Yeah, and she's been very loyal to Jackson State too.
That was one of those games where that's one of those games that you don't expect to happen, right? It's one of those where you're supposed to have your head on the swivel. I feel like after that she made adjustments and she hasn't looked back since. For me, it's about the level of dominance. Like if you're in the SWAC, you know at minimum you're playing second fiddle to Jackson State. You know, this was supposed to be a rebuild year for her. I think because she got Maya Crump back. But a lot of her veterans left. And we see that even though we've had struggled offensively, still undefeated in the SWAC, and all they have to do is they have 3 more games, and then it's another undefeated season, right?
Yeah, in the SWAC, yeah. I don't think nobody has done. I don't think nobody has done that in the SWAC. Like what were we at last season? We went undefeated in the conference last season.
No, we lost to Prairie View.
We got lost to Prairie View last season. Okay. In the last 2 years we went undefeated.
That's like being undefeated is the floor.
But I just hope they don't get lax when they get into the tournament.
I don't feel like they'll get lax. This game that they did against Texas Southern today, which is why I'm glad they ran the score up, just to let y'all know this ain't that, because I feel like some folks doubted the ability for them to be dominant and clicking on all 4 cylinders, right? And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's been some adjustments that were made on the roster. Did you notice that?
How about Adrian? One time for Adriana Avent, 19 points off the bench. That was a good showing right there.
Yeah. So our roster, you know, there's some adjustments that are being made right before the tournament. Shout out to Coach Tamika's staff, of course, Coach Cousin, Coach Campbell, and Coach Williams, her staff and her support staff, and Coach Reed. So moving into the season, I feel like the roster is set, and now it's just kind of all about execution at this point. It's all about executing on a high level and continuing to be the dominant team that they showed today. Now, of course, based on the seeding level, if we're going in, they would be playing, Jackson State would be playing against the 8th seed, right? The first game. Doesn't the first seed play against the 8th seed?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna pull up the seeding.
Yeah, but I'd say who's 8th right now?
And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bethune-Cookman.
Okay, so they'll be playing Bethune-Cookman in the first round.
Oh no, Alcorn.
Alcorn.
Yeah. It just keeps covering it up, but it looks like Alcorn. But of course, there's 3 more games to go. Florida A&M, Prairie View, and Alcorn, they're all kind of like teetering right there at that at that line. So though it might adjust based off that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if the first seed plays the 8th seed, then we'll be playing either Alcorn or Florida A&M.
Oh, don't let us play FAMU. Oh, it'll be on. It'll be so much trash talking for that first round.
Oh my God, really?
It'll be so much talking on that first round.
I mean, okay, so then hypothetically speaking, is there a so the 2 seed plays what, number 7?
Yeah, so 1, 8, 2, 7, 3, 6, and 4 and 5. But I wish, but here's my
I think
wish.
Arkansas Pine Bluff lost to like the team that they might have to play. They actually lost to them.
I want to see where the top 2 seeds get a bye in the tournament. So where
They
they
don't
have
get a bye anymore because
Yeah.
you don't have enough teams. If you bought all 12 to the tournament, then then the first and second seed will get a bye. But we don't have that.
But I'm just saying, like, just not to to try to see them run that gauntlet. That's a lot, because that's 4 games in 4 days.
I mean, I feel like it's just something that you. And then they done started adding playing games even for the NCAA tournament. It's really harsh on your body.
Mm-hmm. But then again, well, in the women's game is different, because they don't, for the WNBA, they only have they only play 40 games. So they don't play, it's not like your normal NBA game where you can play 3 games in 4, 4 days and stuff like that. Or be on the road three games on the road in 4 nights and stuff. So
So the thing about the top ranked team, it's like top ranked team who, for the men or the women, or is it men and women combined? How would you figure that out?
So
but the commissioner did say when we asked him during SWAC Media Day, the commissioner said that where they have the tournament at right now, everything is paid for. By the time the fans are walking in the door, all the bills are paid and they've made a little bit of money. That's why it's where it's at, because that particular city supports the SWAC basketball tournament. And you can't deny that. I don't know if you saw the Mississippi basketball finals. Woo!
The high school.
Yeah, it was packed.
Shout out to the Canton boys winning state tournament. Shout out to was it Laurel? The Laurel girls winning state.
You don't want to do that, because then what if it ends up in Alcorn? I'm just saying.
Shout out to Olive Branch.
So be on the lookout. We are going to do a bracket giveaway. That will be coming up real soon. We're going to do a bracket for the SWAC tournament, or maybe we're going to do the SWAC tournament. We're going to do the NCAA March Madness. I haven't figured that out. I'll figure that out in the next couple of days. Meridian boys won 7A. Just so much talent in and around.
Oh, let me see what's up with I don't know what's up with Texas, because the girls in high school playoffs for the girls, Duncanville girls is down in San Antonio for the state semis.
Right.
Let's see.
So I think, like, our boys, we teetering, right? I don't know. Are we gonna make it? We gotta win.
Yeah, we got to win the last 3 games.
Huh?
We got to win our last 3 games.
I mean, Grambling is in first, Texas Southern second, Southern third, Alcorn fourth, Bethune-Cookman fifth. Jackson State is sixth, but we're right behind Arkansas Pine Bluff and Alabama A&M. Now, we do have to play Arkansas Pine Bluff next Thursday. So next Thursday is damn near a must-win. You want to say that you're going to beat Valley, right? Barring injury, you're going to win that one, right? So now you got Prairie View. So let's see who they done beat.
So they play Prairie
They
View.
done
They play Prairie View
lost
on Monday.
They've lost 1, 2, 3 home games they've lost, but they've lost 5 straight basically. They won against Florida A&M, and they beat Arkansas Pine Bluff, and they beat Alabama A&M. But other than that, oh shit, they beat us? Prairie View beat us back in January, so it's time to return the favor.
Mm-hmm.
This is a must-win for Jackson State, and we talking about just to get into the Mr. Israel. I don't know. Based off how Jackson State men's team been playing, I don't really know if it's an upset, right? But what we just have to pray for is that we win in Prairie View. You know you're gonna win the Valley game. So you got Prairie View and Valley, and you just gotta beat UAPB, right? Because we're teetering at the line to even make it into the tournament. And I understand that we only have 7 scholarship players. I don't know. I felt like almost a month ago we should have held tryouts. Folks are saying, "Oh no, da da da." I don't care what you're talking about. We need extra 3 or 4 players on our team because now we're getting ready to go to the tournament. So, anything else, Mr. Ford? Mr. Ford,
Can you hear me?
yeah. What you think about the tournament? Somebody pointed out to me that the CIAA tournament, the way that it's structured, is the same way that Jackson State tournament is structured.
No, I thought you was playing a semifinal game. Did you tell me a semifinals men's game at 12 o'clock on Friday?
No, Mr. Moore said that the way that it's set up, like the alternating with the women and stuff like that, he said that it's set up the same way.
Well, my thing is that there can be no men's semifinals games before 7 o'clock. I want all the semifinal men's games that night. I don't want any semifinal men games during the day. That's the problem I have.
I think what he was saying was that because you said mimic the tournament.
Yeah, just look at the brackets that
but that's how.
Yeah, that the CIAA uses for that Friday night for the semifinals.
It's the same. It's set up the same way. That's what he was saying.
No, that's not true. That's not true because they play a semifinal game during the day. That's a men's semifinal game. Could you put up the brackets?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to pull it up.
Put the brackets up. No, I'm saying for the SWAC, there's a semifinal game that's played like 12 or 2 o'clock or something.
They got a
men's
CIAA men's final at 2 p.m. Quarterfinals is at 2. And
no, not quarter. I'm saying semi.
Semi's at 2 too. I'm just pulled it up. Let me see.
For the CIAA?
Yes, for the 2024 CIAA men's basketball tournament. They have a 2 p.m. tournament. That was for quarterfinals. For semifinals, they have a 2 p.m. tournament. And then they have a 4 p.m.
And that's being? Wait a minute. Okay, on that Friday night, they have
yesterday at 2 p.m. and yesterday at 8 p.m. So they had a semifinal at 2 p.m. and at 8 p.m. So basically, it's the same setup as Jackson State. I
as the
think the
SWAC.
only, yeah, as the SWAC, excuse me, as the SWAC. I just feel like Jackson State just doesn't have as good as attendance. That's just that. Mr. Ford.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, I was saying that it's at 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. The semifinals.
And that's men.
But I think with the
Yesterday.
CIAA, they send all their teams to the. I think they send all their teams to the tournament. So that's the reason I'm looking at how the brackets are set up. Like one team, like you'll probably have one team play on that like Wednesday, and then somebody, I think a couple of teams look like they get a bye. Like your top teams get a bye. It's kind of like, in a sense, I was thinking of like how Mr. Ford, how the old Big East used to be when they had like 14 teams and they sent all 14
Yeah.
to their conference tournament. And so like in order for you to navigate that whole tournament, try to do 4 or 5 games or 6, 5 days, they had I think they had teams with double buys. So one
Yeah.
team would have one bye, and then another team would have another bye, and so whoever played in the that first round game, then they play the one team who has the bye, and then whoever win that game out, that from that standpoint, and the other team will play uh the second team that has a bye afterwards. It's kind of set up in that way. I was like, in a sense, I know it's 18 that for the SWAC they only send 18, but I still say the top 2 teams need to have a bye. Let the other 6 try to beat each other up. Because in a sense, I want the top 2 teams to actually get to the final.
That's not how that works.
Look, I'm just saying. Did Mr. Ford, did you hear that Delaware State defeated Norfolk State earlier today?
No.
In Dover.
Oh no, I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah, in Dover.
Mr. Ford,
Uh-huh.
did you hear about Joseph Eichelberger, the top batting average in the nation on Jackson State's team?
I know that they were talking about him during those, was it the Cactus? What they were at one of those major
The
league
Cactus
stadiums.
Jack, yeah, the Cactus
Yeah,
Jack
they were talking
Invitation.
about him.
So he went 2 for 3 against Mississippi State, and he hit his first home run of the year. And he's leading the nation in batting average.
Yeah, I did hear something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then today against Alcorn, it looks like he had 1 run, 2 hits, 1 RBI. He stole a base. That was the game where they won. Alcorn is bad this year in baseball. They're 0-8, Mr. Ford.
Okay.
It's pretty bad. It's not looking good for those big bad Braves.
Well, let me ask y'all this question.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this question. Who has the best men's basketball, the SWAC or the MEAC?
Right now?
Yeah.
Men's basketball, I would give a slight edge to the MEAC for a second.
What about you, Mr. Bowman?
I'm always going to say the SWAC is better. We have more teams.
Well, the reason I asked, the USA Today answered that question, and they said that the MEAC has the worst basketball of any conference in America, and they had SWAC basketball, I think 3 notches or 2 notches above the MEAC.
What? Who said
Yeah.
that?
That was in the USA Today. Just look it up where they talk about conference rankings. That the MEAC basketball is the worst conference in America.
Now I didn't know we was. I thought we was comparing HBCU conference to HBCU conference. How could
Now
they do
That's
this,
what I'm
that?
saying.
I have a issue. This is the issue I saw earlier that for all the HBCU basketball, I think somebody came out with a top 10, and I don't see how you rank. They was including all divisions. I don't see how you would
Yeah.
rank Langston University number 2 behind Norfolk State, and Langston only lost one game this season. They haven't lost a game at home in 2 years. The last 2 years overall they are 58-4.
So what is Norfolk doing? They having a Jackson State moment where they're on a run.
It's the coach that they got. Coach Jones is that dude.
Yeah, he's good
Talk
stuff.
about Coach Jones is that dude, but they over here losing to Delaware State.
Hey, anybody lose Delaware State when you go up to Delaware, shoot, that's a house of horrors right there. That's what I call it. I give an arena some names, like for real. Like as North Carolina Central when them going up there, shoot, it got
And by the way, I
got
think North Carolina A&T is it North Carolina A&T or Hampton that's 3-15 in the CAA this year.
in men's
Is
and
it North
but the
Carolina A&T or is it Hampton?
I
Women
think
are
it's
doing. Women, I think, at one point in time, the women were like ranked third in the men's lost today to Campbell by 2. They're 7-24 overall. You talking about in
So it
men's?
must be Hampton. I think Hampton's 3-15 in the CAA.
They're 5-13 in the conference. North Carolina A&T. So
it's Hampton then. Hampton's in last place.
So what do you think about Hampton and North Carolina A&T and them
They need to
competing?
take their ass back to the MEAC.
Dang, Mr. Ford!
is that what they need to do, Mr. Ford? Take their tail back to the MEAC?
No, Mr. Ford said they need to take their ass back to the MEAC. You heard what Mr. Ford said.
Oh,
He did
okay.
not miss
He didn't miss his words.
He did
Okay.
not miss none of his words.
I say it like this: in women's basketball, North Carolina A&T is a good team though. I think they're like what 17-8 or something like that. So I think they have a chance to win. I think they have a chance to win the conference tournament on the women's side.
Who is that? A&T?
A&T women, they can ball.
Yeah, but they men are pitiful.
Yeah, the men is pitiful.
So you saying that they pitiful
And
in
Hampton's men pitiful too.
they pitiful in football. What they gonna do, Mr. Ford?
Like I said, take their ass back to this MEAC.
Yeah, with football, I mean, as far as basketball goes, men's basketball, that ain't the Hampton basketball I usually would see.
So the women's basketball 18-8 overall, and then 12-3 in the conference.
Yeah.
They just beat Hampton. They beat Hampton 73-58. They lost to Monmouth University in double overtime.
Yeah, that was a close
they
one
beat
too.
Elon and Northeastern University.
That was a close.
They last 3 games are Stony Brook, Drexel, and Hofstra.
I think they have a chance to win 2 out of 3.
That's A&T or Hampton?
That's A&T women's.
Oh, women. Okay.
I did have the commentators from Mississippi Valley on the show earlier tonight.
Okay. Did you see that win that they got, Mr. Ford?
Huh?
Who is that? SWAC and the fool act like he know about Jackson State business. He talking about Elliot Ratton will be offensive coordinator. How you know
I
Jackson
hope
State?
not.
Mm-mm.
I hope not. Is that G?
Yes, he
Mm-hmm.
might be trying to be funny.
Oh, that's a joke. G, I know you telling a joke. I know that's a joke.
Baby joke.
Yeah, I know that's a
Oh
joke.
Lord. Don't bring him over here. Shoot.
Say, gee, mind your business.
I
I'm
You're
would have
over there
had
in
serious.
your
I
big
would have
sad
had
Braves.
I would
Y'all
have
over
had
there in
Jason
the baseball.
I would have had Jason Phillips be my offensive coordinator at Jackson.
Oh God.
Now he at Norfolk State with Big Worm.
G need to go on somewhere. Didn't the big sad Braves lose today?
The Bad Bill Braves, yep.
Did they really lose in basketball? No, they won. They
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 won.
beat Prairie View. The
What
men
about the
beat
women?
Prairie View. Let me see. Alcorn beat the women too today by 2.
Oh, okay. Bad Bill Braves. All right.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Today, Mr. Ford, the game between Alabama A&M and Alabama State over at the new event center in Huntsville drew a crowd of almost 6,400 people up in there.
I don't know what's wrong with Mr. Ford stuff. Norfolk women's. I mean, people keep asking me about Norfolk women's basketball team. I think that they are a good team. I do. I never said that they weren't a good team. I am gonna keep it a buck with you though.
We'll
They
run
have
through
one
them
loss. They have one loss in their division, right? In
in the conference.
the
Yeah.
conference. Yeah, they lost. Who did they lose to? Depending on who it is, I'm definitely gonna talk this. Who did they lose to? Howard? They lost to Howard Girls. The Howard Girls team.
I would say something about this by Howard.
So let me
That
see what the Howard Girls been doing.
I would
They
say this.
9-3 in the they're 9-3 in the conference.
I would say this about Howard girls, especially in softball. They got a damn good softball team. They came, they came and ran through the. They softball team came and ran through the SWAC.
I mean, I think it's open season for real. They lost North Carolina A&T the women's game. They went to overtime twice this season. And Howard lost both times. So 76-79 the first time they met in Durham, and then 64-70 in Washington D.C. Tough. Played them tough in so I don't know. I think if you lose to a team, I feel like you're not the best, right? If you lose to somebody in your division, you can't call yourself the best. What do you think is going to be in the coaching meal for the basketball? Like, what coaches do you think?
That might be gone.
Yeah.
FAMU.
That's
FAMU.
it.
FAMU need to have Jesus on their side.
Mr. Ford, you good at hiring and firing coaches before it actually happens? Who you think getting ready to get the pink slip in the basketball? Besides
You talking to me, Mr. Timon?
yeah, who you think's getting ready to get the axe? Obviously the Valley coach, right?
Yeah,
The Valley basketball coach.
yeah. That's Ivory. Isn't that Ivory?
George Ivory.
George Ivory could be on the hot seat.
Hot seat.
What? Yeah, that guy at Florida A&M is definitely out.
That should be it, though,
Let's
right?
see.
SWAC and the Fool said Alcorn State's women heads coach.
Hey, G, what defenses does Quinn run?
What the?
How's he gonna know what defenses Quinn run?
See,
No, the Valley women's basketball coach just got there. The Valley women's basketball coach just got there. I think she's safe.
I think they establishing.
I
I
wanted
think
to
they try
ask
to
G
establish some.
about.
You're breaking up.
We talking about basketball, Mr. Ford. He's talking about G. Why? G don't know. G don't know. He doesn't know. G need to be worried about those big sad Braves over there on the reservation. Because like Mr. Ford said, there's a lot of Alcorn faithful that wasn't too happy about Fred McNair's exit. He does not run a 3.35. Hush. Mr. Ford, G said he runs a 3.35. That man don't know. Coach gonna run a 4.2, a 4.25. What's up, Brother Bakari?
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Good.
What's going on?
I know it's me. I got my other name up here. But anyway,
You got your picture. It's the same picture you always use.
oh snap, I meant to switch. But anyway, I just came up here to speak, man. What is this? This the fifth regular season for Coach Tamika Reed? Fifth regular season, Tampa 6. Which one?
If you come to the SWAC, just know you ain't gonna win no SWAC championship.
It's a fifth or 6-1, so I wanted to come, congratulate her for doing an excellent job. And we need to figure out a way to keep her. Maybe I'm keep telling you we got to keep her, but I just wanted to come up here, and give a shout out to the lady Tigers. They did what they supposed to do, and they did it in great fashion. But I heard you say something about a coach. The only coach I'm going to concern about being gone is Valley coach. He need to be out. I watch Valley play. Oh my goodness, man! That dude, he don't care. I really don't think he cares. I'm just being honest with you.
Come on. When you just keep losing, it's like he wasn't even happy when he won. I would have been jumping up and down.
I don't think he care at all, man. That the stuff they do. What's going on, Mr. Fold? But that's my only reason coming up here. I'm just gonna come. I'm gonna just listen. But that's why I came up here to give a shout out to them Lady Tigers. JSU is the standard. And by the way, before I go, somebody asked you with your feelings. Get them out the way. Don't get emotional. Jackson State women is better than Norfolk State. I said it. Me and my homeboy had this conversation all the time, and he's a graduate of Norfolk State, and we had this conversation all the time. But he was talking. He said when he saw Jackson State play women, he said he think we're a little bit better than Norfolk State. But he said he think we just a little bit better than Norfolk State. And I saw somebody else putting there something about a play-in game. You know why I don't want? See, they're not gonna give Jackson State or Norfolk State the seed that they deserve, right? Neither one of them. The reason I'm kind of shaky about that play-in game, if they give a play-in game, I believe we'll see who's better, Jackson State or Norfolk State, because I believe they'll be playing each other in that play-in game, or one of them is going, or it is going to be Jackson State year to play South Carolina, which ain't right. Jackson State actually has a good team. I watch some of those have a good team for real, not just no SWAC team, not just for an HBCU. And if you just watch, if you just go look at some of those other, I watch just to try to compare. I'm telling you, it's a lot of. If Jackson State was in the SEC, Jackson State would be middle of the pack. Jackson State would be one of those teams in the SEC they're talking about. All you got, if you just watch those teams play. See, people think they're better just because of the conference they're in, without even watching them play. If you watch those teams play, Jackson State women would, I'm saying they would be middle of the pack. Those teams, think about it. What Mississippi State, beat them by 10, then put away late in the game.
I think the only one, and I think the only game that they lost that was a blowout was when they played University of Texas.
Yeah, in Kansas State, the Big 12 got the best overall conference in Kansas State. But if you watch, now that's my opinion about the Big 12. But if you watch them, Jackson State is good enough to be a middle of the pack team. I'm telling you, I'm being Ole Miss. I don't. It wasn't a fluke when UAPB beat Arkansas. And if you look and see, Arkansas women is on a bubble. They're on the bubble for NCAA. They might not get it. They probably gonna have to win a couple of games in the tournament to get an Android bid. But they're on a bubble. And remember, UAPB beat them.
So I think on the men's side, Missouri is on the bubble on the men's side.
Now Missouri is on. I don't know what Missouri's on the bubble, hoping they season in. Missouri ain't won a game in the conference. They ain't won a game, I don't think. Not this year. You talking about last year. But I literally just watched some of those games just to see. I watched Jackson State and I watched them. Those teams, I'm telling you, South Carolina, of course, better. LSU, better. Not no 20-30. I'm telling you that because I'm not that extremely impressed with them either. They might get a Sweet 16. That's just my personal opinion. But if you watch the games and of our people, and I'm quite sure it might even trickle. I don't think it trickled down to the teams, and I hope not. And of course, we're gonna get bad calls. But if you really just watch, you will see Jackson State. It's a couple of HBCU teams that would be middle of the pack in the SEC. And when people look and say, "Oh, Jackson State lost to this team, this team, this team, and this team," but none of those teams ever come to Jackson. We don't know what Jackson State would do to them if they came to Jackson. We're always on the road. People that they don't want to look at that part. And I know when we go, we're gonna be on the road and we're gonna have to pull off an upset in an NCAA tournament. I'm hoping we get a good enough seed where we can pull off 2 of them. But one win right now, But I'm hoping. But those teams, they're not all those teams they're talking about not head and shoulders above Jackson State. If you just watch them, you'll see they are not head and shoulders above Jackson State. Not hit. They're really not.
Mm.
And that's the only reason I watch them, because I don't care about them at all. Because I just want to compare.
Hey, Timon, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember I sent y'all I think I sent you that thing off of Twitter about that one source that said that Davis didn't have a serious ankle injury in the Legacy Bowl.
Right.
What do you think about how do you feel about that source? Because to me, I don't believe in that source right there.
That particular source has put out multiple negative or wrong information, but I'll say this. I feel like they said that he met with the Eagles. You ain't finna go meet with the Eagles injured. What are you meeting with the Eagles for? Did they tape his ankle? I don't know. That's an interesting subject. It's a touchy subject because I think that folks were in an uproar about that injury because it was previously discussed not to run him. Because the scouts basically wanted to see his throwing capabilities, his accuracy, in him in the pocket navigating, and that's what they wanted to highlight for him. And apparently the running that he was doing was not a part of what was previously discussed.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about David?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think somebody said that he wasn't injured, or he didn't have an injury as previously discussed.
You know, they say during the season, I heard him just talk. I heard him talking after one game. They coached Trey off too. I heard him had come down there, had come to visit them about 5 times to see David Richards and talking about his salary being saying they think he would be a good bag up for Jalen Hurts. I forget what he said that in a press conference after the game. So yeah, saying he met with the Eagles. Yeah, I absolutely believe that. I'm trying to see this, but I remember. I remember that press conference after the game.
So you said they say his player comp is Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, according to what
It says the Philadelphia Eagles have reportedly met with North Carolina Central. So the premise is that can Davius Richards, as an undrafted free agent, have the same capability or play at the same level as any NFL team's backup quarterback, right? You're going to get a quarterback for pennies on the dollar compared to if you're playing if you have a third or fourth string quarterback on the roster and you're paying him millions. So it says the Philadelphia Eagles have reportedly met with North Carolina Central QB Davius Richards. So I don't know. Is he injured? Is he not injured?
I think he's injured. I think he was injured. I think somebody rolled up on his ankle at Legacy Bowl. We all saw it. But I think he also still had the injury from early in the season too. So, when
he was probably favoring his leg, like it was one of those things where it was kind of a soft spot. To my knowledge, he was supposed to be basically promoting his throwing capabilities and how well he works in the pocket and reading defenses. That was some of the most important things that the scouts wanted to see, because they already knew that he could run. They already know that he's a dual threat quarterback. So I think that calling for the HBCU Legacy Bowl game to discontinue was a little bit too much for me.
I don't think you want to discontinue it because of what happened right there. I just think, in a sense, we all know that he can run. Everybody know he can run. But we want to know, can he, like you said, can he read the defense? Can he go through his progressions? Can he throw a check down? Can he do the short? Can he do an intermediate? Can he throw the long ball? To me, that's
somebody said his ankle is broken. These folks don't know. They just be talking.
I don't think his ankle broken. It's dislocated.
Okay. You know what? Just prayers to Davius for healing and strength, that he is able to perform at his pro day. Whitley says it's dislocated. Dr. D says that it's broken. Somebody else says there ain't nothing wrong with his leg, and he's meeting with the Philadelphia Eagles. Ankle is dislocated, so the injury isn't what they thought it was. I just know the high level of force that you have to place on your ankle during the NFL. It's like having durability. Having durability is very important. Data said broken is dislocated. So Dr. D, I don't know if he has a PhD as a doctor or a PhD in hopping from one school to the next, whoever he feels like is going to win. But he said that having a broken ankle is dislocated. So EA says he just played in the Hula Bowl. He should have just done the combine and left like Howard from Alcorn did.
Yeah, Jarvion didn't play in the game. He just did his combine.
Oh.
Jarvion was doing the combine and then he gonna do his pro day.
Did he do practices?
I don't think he did practice. He just did the combine and he gonna do
So
his pro
Jarvion
day.
Howard is gonna be at Jackson State's joint pro day. G, are you in the chat still? G might not be in the chat no more. But you tell G, we don't want to hear none of that extra. Don't want to hear none of that extra about how Alcorn should have their own pro day. We don't want to hear that. There's certain players from Alcorn that's already on the scouts' radar. That's who they're going to be looking at. So when they ask for somebody to do some work afterwards, or there's certain kids that they want to see do some extra work outside of the normal like drills and stuff like that, please don't come up on these networks talking mess and being messy with some folks that's not even from HBCU spaces but came here because of Deion Sanders. We don't want to hear that negativity. The pro day that's going to be held at Jackson State so that everybody has an opportunity to do their drills. And can we get some of these kids to do their drills correctly? Or not their drills, their measurables, and just like some of the stuff that they're like the 40. Come on now. Don't be over here running a 5.4 and talking about they ain't giving you a chance. Now, I know y'all watched the NFL Combine today, right?
Yeah, I'm about to get on that too.
Don't be over here. You see all them boys running track speed. I don't know where they're going. They weigh $130, $140. They don't have no weight on them. So I'm trying to figure out what NFL team is gonna pick them up weighing less than me.
Shoot. Speed kills.
Okay, we know speed kills, but you have to have some weight on you. And some of these kids clearly have no weight on them. So when they gain, which I'm sure that now that the not just HBCU combine, but so for the HBCU combine players, some of these kids need bulk and they're running less than four. They're running what, 4.5, 4.7s, 4.8s without the weight that they need, right? So the kids that are running a 4.2 and 4.3, if you add some weight on them, then you get what, a 4.4, a 4.45 or something like that, or even a 4.5. But if you're already running a 4.5, 4.6, and then you have to add weight, that's going to slow you down.
When it comes to running a 40, it's all about your first 10 yards.
I know that. What I'm saying is once they gain weight, they're going to lose seconds or milliseconds on some of those.
Well, I did see a defensive lineman weighing at 366 ran a 5.2.
Right. And then so you have that, right? And then you also have folks that had opportunities to run and they aren't running that fast and they need more weight on them. That's my concern is, so do these kids need speed training? What is it exactly that they need? Are they having opportunities to train correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Are they getting that opportunity? Especially what I remember, one of them was, you have to, I want to say, let me see. Because some players didn't even do some of their stuff. They were just like, yeah, I'm not going to do any of that. Caleb Williams, he said he's not doing nothing.
Caleb Williams ain't doing nothing. He going to wait till his pro day.
Why? Why is he doing that?
Because he's projected to be the first pick of the draft.
So what did he not want to do? Perform in front of everybody so they can say that he's not worth the first round? I'm confused. Okay.
No.
So you got the 40, the split, the vertical, the broad, the 3-cone, the shuttle, and then the bench.
So, yeah, Caleb
I
already
can remember doing the bench. You're supposed to have at least 17, 15, 17, something like that. And
it depends on and it also, when you do the bench, it depends on your it basically depends on your position. So like for offensive linemen, if you can't bench more than 25, that means that you're not strong. You don't have a strong upper body.
I mean, look at these 40-yard dashes. They are ridiculous.
I know one dude ran today. It was a receiver. He ran a 4.21.
I got it. Xavier Worthy from Texas.
University of Texas.
I mean, do you want to perform in the Olympics? Nate Wiggins, 4.28. He's a cornerback.
And guess what? When he
4.33.
When
Brian
Nate Wiggins,
Thompson, 4.33. Isaac. Now I want to say, didn't Isaiah Bolden run a 4.3?
Yeah, he is a legit 4.3.
Devontae Walker, 4.36. Jalen Wright, 4.38. Jarian Jones, 4.38. Like, these corners and wide receivers are running 4.3s and 4.4s. Shout out to, I want to say there was a player from D2.
Willie Drew, Virginia State, ran a 4.48.
Yeah, he ran a 4.46. He's right here.
4.46?
Yep.
Okay.
Willie Drew from Virginia State. He ran a 4.46. He's a cornerback. 6 foot, 191 pounds.
No matter what your business is, don't let it stay behind. Go to Fiverr. Find AI experts who can build a chatbot for your website and take your website to the next level. Fiverr. Find AI experts.
Okay. Anyway, they're going to expect him to gain at least 10 pounds.
What's his size? He said
191.
His first run.
That's still a good
That's
size
a good
for
time
him.
for him. Look, coming from Virginia State, he had a ton of production.
Oh my God.
But that's a great time. His first was a little bit.
Okay. I just asked you what you wanted to eat, and you didn't want to eat what I said because you want to eat
chicken nugget.
Yeah, you don't want that. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with this website. Let me see.
Website. The perfect box.
Let's see what his grade is. All right. So it says prospect grade is a 5.95, average backup or special teamer. This is his breakdown. He didn't do a vertical jump or a broad jump, 3-cone drill, or 20-yard shuttle. And he got 13 on the bench press reps. So they have him ranked basically as a priority undrafted free agent. If you go to the website, they basically highlight where somebody possibly could be, right? So right there is an example. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So priority undrafted free agent. You see that?
Yeah.
And then it says average backup or special teamer. So he's on the average backup or special teamer right here. So they already have folks information on here. I wonder who else they have. Let's look up the Howard kid.
Aneen Dankwa.
What'd you say?
Aneen Dankwa.
Aneen Dankwa.
That's his name.
Aneen Dankwa. Let me see if I can find. When you say Dankwa, what is that? D
That's
or
D
O?
D DANKWAH.
Did I pass him? Okay, he's got a 5.83 grade. Aneen Dankwa. He's 5.83. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
My son is giving me the blues right now. Okay, it says he doesn't need to gain weight at 191. All right. It says he's average backup or special teamer, 6'7", 362 pounds. Decorated left tackle with extremely rare size, mass, and length. He moves with adequate initial quickness, but will struggle to redirect his weight to make blocks on the move or to recover his quick inside rush counters. Enormous human being with arms like two big tree limbs. Upper and lower body movements are quicker than expected. Highly effective, moving opponents off their spot or on angle blocks. Active hands can keep defenders at the end of his punch. And he creates wide net to coral edge attacks, keeping them in his clutches. So he's another one. He's at 5'8", So on this little grade right now, they have him as an average backup or special teamer, which is above a priority undrafted free agent. And it's also above bottom of roster or practice squad. So his grade is above that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two HBCU players. Braxton does not have school today or tomorrow. So no, my baby's not going to bed at 8:30, but he will be going to bed after this. And me and Braxton took a nap today, which is why he's so hyper. But thank you for that little info about his sleep schedule. Anyway, I'm gonna get off of here. So maybe I can pay attention to what he's doing for him to sleep.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We done kind of got sidetracked and started talking about other stuff, but I feel like we encompassed everything that we needed to on the coaches reveal. Congratulations to Jackson State on their coaches reveal, and we are ready for the spring game, and we are ready for spring practice. Say good night, Braxton.
Good night. Good night.
Why Dunn get cooked off the Marshall team football team? Uh-oh. People are being messy. Who is Dunn? Is Dunn on the FAMU team now? Y'all folks is terrible in the chat.
The live is over.
You have a good night. Oh, Doc, you want to talk about when the next time you coming on?
I might go home tomorrow. I've been off this whole weekend.
Good night.
Yep. Been on. I'll be on probably on tomorrow.
Oh, I'll be on Tuesday probably. Peace out, y'all.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye, JV.
That doesn't say J. What do we say? That said JTV.
JT.
Yep. All right.
Bye.
I'll holla.
How you gonna fix it? You done messed me up the time of visit. I done called the police because I'm doing a refund. A refund is due unto me. Don't feel like I just been abused out here today. God ain't pleased with this. You can't do the Saints like this. Boy, I don't even know what's wrong with sitting out here telling the police.
Good night, y'all. I'm gonna stop playing.
Good night.
I've had some weary days and some sleepless nights. But when I look around, and I think things over, all of my good days outweigh my bad days. I don't control. The clouds hang low. I can hardly see the road. I ask the question, Lord. Lord, why so this day? But He knows one day from me. Although my weary eyes, they can't see, so I'll just say, thank you, Lord. I won't complain. But He is so good to me. He's been good to me. Better than this world you could ever be. He's been so good. But He knows one day from me. Although my weary eyes, they can't see, so I'll just say, thank you, Lord.